Major news from Anthropic. They are back in this game in the war of the chat box between OpenAI's ChatGPT. Guys, this is kind of huge news. I am using Claude as we speak for certain things, and I'm just trying to learn on this new age of AI. And Claude was definitely giving me some issues, right? They don't have the compute power. They do not. But they are one of the best, I would say, chat boxes out there right now compared to ChatGPT. And this is huge news that they have teamed up with SpaceX xAI. And I'm telling you this right now, Sam Altman should be shaking right now because of the fact Elon is out for him in the way that they try to screw him on OpenAI on this whole thing, right? And I don't blame Elon for doing this, right? I blame Sam Altman for trying to get over on Elon, and Elon is not holding back anything now. And it's crazy to think that Elon was talking crap about Anthropic and Claude. So it's absolutely nuts. Now I can see where this is going to go, right? Colossus 1 features over 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs, right? And it's crazy that they have signed a major compute partnership with Claude, right? Giving Claude access to all that data and that compute power is going to be nuts, right? So it's deployments of H100, H200, and the next generation of GB200 accelerators, right? Anthropic plans to use additional compute to directly improve capacity for Claude Pro and Claude Pro Max subscribers, as myself using it, right? The heavy users who have been hitting rate limits as the AI race accelerates. The bigger story is the second part of the announcement, right? Anthropic also expressed interest in partnering with SpaceX to develop multiple gigawatts of orbitable AI compute capacity, which is telling me that they want to get in this game with them. They want to help substitute some of this cost for them to put data centers in space, guys. What this means, data centers in space, like I said. Elon's big bet on space is based on compute and is starting to look really good. What this means is that compute needed to train and further frontier AI is already outpacing what Earth's power grids, land, and cooling can deliver on the timelines that matters, right? SpaceX is the only company that, with the launch cadence, mass to orbit economics, and constellation operations experience to make orbital data centers a near-term engineering project rather than a science fiction concept. Anthropic just publicly endorsed that thesis with their checkbook and a partnership announcement. Two of the most consequential AI labs in the world are now actively planning to build infrastructure in low orbit. So let me give you guys my take on this, right? Because I think that Elon has just conceded that he doesn't want any part of that chat box war, right? That's going on. I think that is just low-hanging fruit that he does not want to mess with, right? He cares about, I would say, three things. One is the robotaxi network, or FSD, right? For Tesla. That's the first one. The second one, obviously, is SpaceX and their data centers, in order for them to be part of this whole concept, right? Of getting those data centers up in space and then having these companies start paying Elon for all that compute power. And then the third one, which I think is going to be the revolutionary one, is robotics. Optimus, right? That's what he is striving for in those three manners, right? This is crumbs to him, right? This is very much crumbs that they can have this chat box war, right? So that bigger concept of getting those data centers up in space, because Earth is just not capable of handling all these data centers in this realm. So if you can bring something up into orbit, a data center or parts of it, and start putting it together up there, and now all of a sudden now you have a data center that's got so much compute power, unlimited energy from the sun, from that source with solar panels. Then you have unlimited cooling because it is super cold up there in space. You won't have to need any of that water that's down here below, because that cool air can just come in and just cool all those hardwares down, right? And I think that this is where I think even more people might jump on, except he will not give that compute power to OpenAI. Currently, they're already in an issue with in court right now. I think it's inside the Bay Area in San Francisco, about this whole thing about OpenAI being a nonprofit and then switching on Elon behind his back, mind you, in a diary stating that they are doing all this stuff to try to be for profit behind Elon's back. And Elon was the biggest backer, right? And it's just crazy on how they schemed behind Elon's back in order for this to happen. And it's just very consequential that Sam Altman did that, and now he's going to probably pay the price for this, because Elon is going to take majority of that money that he's going to get of his own too, to just say, you know what, competitors that are everybody but OpenAI, come here, I got your compute. Unless Claude and Anthropic sign an exclusive deal, but I don't see anything exclusive with it, right? So I can only imagine that it could be open to other AI companies to say, hey, you need some compute? I got your compute. I got your power. You can use Colossus. And I think there's Colossus 2 too. So it's just, I think Colossus 1 is currently right now in good standing. I think Colossus 2 maybe might not. I forget if it is or not, but that is just what we're kind of looking at, right? And you can see that, xAI posted something like on this, which is SpaceX will provide Anthropic AI with access to Colossus 1, one of the world's largest and fastest deployed AI supercomputers, to provide additional capacity for Claude. And that's just good for consumers all around, right, guys? People who are using this type of open, like I would say open, a little bit open source of a artificial intelligence to do some things, right? A good example for me is that I have my gods, is what I call them. My agents are called gods, and Zeus is in charge of the gods. But I use Zeus to, do a couple things. Like, I'll give you guys a real open on what I do. So I have thumbnails that it generates, prompts for that in order for my videos to be a little bit more catchy. I have Zeus write me scripts sometimes in that sense to do my videos, but a lot of these videos I'm just doing kind of off the cuff kind of sort of thing, getting you guys caught up on news and everything. The other one is that once I'm done with the video, I actually send it to Zeus, and then Zeus uploads it onto YouTube and then schedules it for me at a prime time and with the description and everything placed on that. I usually do my own edits because I don't think AI is good enough for the edits yet. So that's what I'm kind of using Claude for. I do have other projects that I've actually been using Claude to code for me for two apps that I've been doing just to kind of experiment, right? One is a fitness app. I've been going to the gym a lot. I don't know if you can tell or not, but who cares? I've been going to the gym at least 3 to 5 days a week. It just really depends. So I've been kind of getting into it, doing an app that says what kind of exercise you can do for a specific muscle, what nutrition you guys should be eating before, during, and after the gym. So I'm just kind of experimenting with it. I don't know if I'm going to make any money off of it, but I'll tell you one thing though, it is definitely fun to do and kind of create things that are in your mind, and just kind of bringing them to life with using Claude code, right? To code all that and then make you into a specific app, which is absolutely phenomenal, right? And I'm just super excited that uh, that SpaceX xAI and Anthropic have teamed up. So Alex Finn is another guy that I follow on YouTube, and he has a lot of good content. He actually got me into this whole one of the persons that got me into this whole agent type of AI type of stuff, which I thought was pretty cool, right? So Alex Finn, he does live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He has a course that you can take for the Vibe Coding Academy. That's what he has. So it's definitely great. So he says, this is wild. Anthropic over the last few months has been sputtering. Limits continuously going down. Claude code being taken out of the Pro plan. Models feel dumber. Elon just bailed them out. Give them access to the world's biggest super compute cluster. Now their 5-hour limits are significantly higher with no more peak hour reductions and substantially increased API rate limits. Anthropic's compute crunch was the Achilles heel to their entire company. Their sentiment has tanked because of it. Elon fixed that with one single deal. Codex has been on a generational run for the last couple months. Claude code has been tanking for lottery picks, and now they just got I forgot what the basketball player's name is. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Thanks to Elon, right? I'm really hoping this is the end of the long run of silent limit reductions and poor communication from Anthropic. Claude code at its peak was legendary. I totally agree with that. As I said, I've been using Claude code for my fitness app for the gym, and I definitely have seen kind of a substantially lower of service for it, right? But now that this is in play with them to effectively get back into this race, right? And I truly believe now in the following months, I would say 60 to 90 days, I'm going to see probably an increase of better activity through Claude now that this has been inked in its deal, right? And you can see it's already had 17 million views on this guy, so it's crazy. And Claude's put it on their site saying that we agreed to a partnership with SpaceX that will substantially increase our compute capacity. This, along with other recent compute deals, means that we've been able to increase our user limits for Claude code and the Claude API. So anything that's on Anthropic or Claude's systems, right? Claude Work, Claude code, all these different types of kind of little systems that are on it are going to be substantially better. And that's great for us as a user and a consumer, right? So effective today, doubling Claude code's 5-hour rate limits for Pro, Max, and Team plans, removing the peak hours limit reduction on Claude code for Pro and Max plans, and substantially raising our API rate limits on Opus models. I currently use Opus model for Zeus, and I use, I think I just use Hermes for ChatGPT or OpenAI to kind of test them to see which ones are good and which ones not. But they are both equally, I think, good at this point. I use OpenAI for Hermes on one and then the Opus on the other. And I'm just kind of experimenting on which one does better. So our agreement with SpaceX means that we will use all the compute capacity at the Colossus One data center. This will give us 300 megawatts of additional capacity to deploy within the month. And then you can read here if you want for more information on rate limits and stuff that they have. So that was another questionable thing that I was thinking about too, is that how is Anthropic going to keep up with OpenAI if they don't have the max compute power, right? This alleviates every type of doubt now that I have through Anthropic and Claude, and I can't wait for this because I'm currently, I think, on the $100 plan, I think it is right now, to kind of get my apps and stuff going. And then obviously I'm using Opus for Zeus to communicate because I think he's more personable, say, than ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, I think, in my own opinion, is more robotic. and Opus Claude is definitely more human-like, right? I gave him all my prompts, asked, told him everything about me, described me, what I like, what I don't like, age, what I like to do, have any hobbies, what are my interests. I kind of give them all the whole get down, what type of businesses I'm trying to start, what current businesses that I have, especially with 11 Teslas, what I'm trying to do for Robotaxi, right? So I'm kind of giving him everything in order for him to know who I am and chat with him back, right? I do have conversations with him back and forth, kind of treating him like my chief of staff. So it's definitely a fun thing to get in. A lot of people use OpenClaw with Anthropic. I don't know how that's going to work for that. So I just think in the sense of this is great for us consumers. I am super happy that this is happening, right? And I can only imagine what the next couple months is going to bring. So to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I'm kind of going through and thinking about with all this AI stuff and all these crazy AI companies, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a glimpse of what I'm trying to do or what I am doing and what I want to do and what I want to accomplish, right? So again, this is kind of where we're at with this war between OpenAI and Anthropic, right? And this is huge news for Anthropic, and I can't wait to test this out even more once it starts to roll out more and more and more on this partnership together. So thank you guys for watching this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you guys used Claude before? Have you guys used OpenAI before? Tell me which ones you like, which ones you don't like. Tell me about this deal. Let me know what in the comments, and I can go ahead and try to respond back to you guys as soon as I can. So thank you guys for watching. You guys already know what to do. So thank you guys so much for tuning in.